Hi, this is Gilles, the radio prepper. I'm working on a couple of videos right now, but I didn't have anything for this Monday, so I thought I would share my enthusiasm for the PRC-320, the military man-pack radio. It's an amazing rig. It's not the lightest, and for prepping it might not be the best choice, especially because of the battery weight. But other than that, it's absolutely an amazing radio. It's indestructible, practically. It's built like a tank. This thing is submersible, imagine that. Very different from commercial rigs. It only draws 175 milliamps, and that's as much as my KX2, which is unbelievable. So those batteries, although they are pretty heavy, last a very long time. Now, if you want to operate QRO, meaning high power, and still be portable, go see Julian's videos, OH8STN. He's found a way to do it. But I prefer smaller radios, although of course again the PRC-320 is not a small radio. And usually I operate very tiny Morse code only radios, but just for fun, and or for camp radio, the PRC-320 and any other military radios would be absolutely awesome. As long as you can transport them in a way that's not going to, kill you. The radio is very simple. This is the tuner part, and this is the transceiver part. Here we have the band selection or frequency range selection, and here we have the knobs that allow you to choose the frequency. So this is 10 megahertz, so it's only 0, 1 or 2 of course, because the radio goes from 3 to 30 megahertz. We have the megahertz, so here I'm on 14,202, which translated into amateur radio frequency would be 14,200. The Clansman dials show 2 kilohertz above what we commonly use as the amateur frequency. Here we have the mode selection, AM, CW wide, SSB, which is USB in this case, upper sideband, there is no lower sideband, CW narrow, 250 Hertz, which is really good, and frequency check, which I'm not quite sure exactly how you use that. The gain is simply the volume, and here we have the on and off switch, which goes to antenna, that's for tuning, LP, low power, 3 watts, HP, high power, 30 watts, and battery check. So when we turn the radio on, we simply go to antenna first. We look above the radio and there is a chart here for the tuner, so here I'm using the whip. And I found that the best noise is heard on D, and here D5 for the load. So D5 is my setting. Usually it's C4 for the whip, so but it depends. I'm going to set actually just press the switch here to transmit. And I'm adjusting for maximum deflection. And actually here D5 might not be the best, so I'm going to try maybe D6 or D4. It's about the same. So here I have maximum deflection and we are tuned. You know, the military has an enormous budget and they can try everything. They can experiment, they can test, they can waste money, your money. And they usually find the right way to do things. And military manpacks are a perfect example of that. Of course, the difference between us preppers and the military is that the military is or has an infrastructure and has support, which we presumably wouldn't have. So that's why their equipment, although very rugged, can be heavy and not that easy to transport if you're by yourself. And that's the issue here. The PRC-320 is absolutely awesome, but it's made for, first of all, an 18-year-old soldier in perfect health, capable of carrying the stuff, and whose other gear might be carried by someone else or a vehicle of some kind. So they're used in patrol, they're used in things like that where you don't have to worry about carrying your tent and your sleeping bag and all your cooking gear and your rifle. I mean, of course they have one too, but it's just less stuff to carry, so they can afford to carry a heavier radio. But we can't really do that. That's why I think it's a great camp radio when you're going to be set up for a few days and you can transport it somehow on a vehicle or some kind of a cart or something like that. But to carry on your back, I'd rather not.
Q1 20, this is Florida 4, Golf Hotel Bravo, morning listening.
Foxtrot 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee.
Foxtrot 4, the branch station, please come again.
Foxtrot 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Foxtrot 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Over.
Okay, you are not very strong, but all copied, 555. Good morning, sir. Fox 4, Whiskey, Bravo, Yankee. Let me write. No, it's the first contact. So, okay, very good. Good morning. And I don't know if you were listening to the frequency, but I repeat, the name here is Alain. Alain is my name. I spell Alpha Lima Alpha India November. QTH, a small village in the Burgundy area, which is approximately in the middle of France, 25 kilometers north of the city of Nevers. So F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee, F4 GSB. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. This is Gilles, Golf India Lima. And here you are a 5, no S meter, but probably I would say a 5758 here near the town of Lille, Lima, India, Lima, Echo, QSL.
Okay, Gilles. It's good copy, not very strong, 5-5, picking 6, but okay. Come in France, in north of France, the department 59. Okay, very good. I hope the weather is fine in your place, but here it's wonderful. 20, maybe 21 degrees, sun is shining and no wind, deep blue skies. it's wonderful weather. The rig here is the Fox Tango 990 by Yezu, and the antenna is a homebrew 2-element cubical quad 12 meters high. F4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee, F4 GHB.
Okay, very good. Yeah, your weather is better than mine here. It's kind of foggy, not very warm, but of course it's the north of France. The radio here is a PRC-320 military manpack with a 2.5 meter whip, so quite a short antenna, but glad to see that we're making contact. Over.
Copy, Jill. Military radio. Anyway, it works perfectly. Sounds good. And are you from the UK, or were you born in France, Jill?
Yeah, I was born in France, but I spent most of my adult life in the US, in Florida, and it was much warmer than here. But I'm back in France now for 2 years, and yeah, doing a bit of radio. Over.
Yes, of course, I can imagine. The weather is warmer than here in France, in Florida.
Another issue with the PRC-320 and most military radios, actually all military radios I know of, is that they're not made to browse frequencies. So, you have knobs that you have to turn and set your frequency, or buttons, but they're not made to actually search for a signal. You have to know the frequency you're going to be on, and usually the military, of course, you're contacting someone that you know, and you know where they're going to be. Not so for amateur radio, although there might be cases where indeed you know where, who you're going to call and where they are on the spectrum. So that's something to consider if you get a military radio. It's not meant to be, to tuned around. Foxtrot 8 Victor Oscar Romeo, is that correct? Is this Ray? Oh, Ray, yeah, hi. How are you doing? Do you copy? This is Gilles, Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. It's difficult to copy. I get some QSB, so it comes and goes here. And on top of that, I have someone cutting grass here with a lawnmower, so it's kind of hard to copy. Go ahead. Roger that, and same thing here. I'm on a 4th floor apartment terrace, and I have the PRC-320 here with the 2.5 meter whip QSL. Roger. Well, we still made contact, so that's pretty good, I guess. Both using the whip. Is that correct? What's your antenna? Over. Foxtrot 8 Victor Oscar Romeo. Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. What antenna are you using? Over. Oh, G5RV, copy that. I'm on the 3.2 meter whip here, so a very short antenna, over.
Okay, here, a lot of QSB again, a lot of QSB. I was on the 2.5 whip at the start, but have now changed to the G5RV. Over.
Roger that for the G5RV. You are using the PRC-320, is that correct?
The PRC-320. Over.
Well, that's great. That's not very often that we can have a PRC-320 to PRC-320 contact. And it's working pretty well, I have to say. If the band was a little bit more stable, that would be better. And if I didn't have someone using a powered, grass cutter or something here, that would be better too. But I'm glad to hear you, and I'm glad we can make contact here. It's not an easy distance. Over.
Okay, Gilles. Yeah, a lot of QSB again, my friend. Okay, listen, I will leave you to it. Thank you very much for the short QSO this morning with 320 to 320. I will wish you many 7-3s, and hopefully she'll speak to you again shortly. So, Fox 8, Victor, Oscar, Romeo, Porto.
Well, I sure hope we can try again sometime, and maybe in better conditions. So, but you have a great day and a very nice weekend. Over.
Gilles, merci beaucoup pour le contact. C'était un plaisir, comme d'habitude. À bientôt, mon ami, et bon après-midi.
Merci, bonne journée, à bientôt. Fox 4 Whiskey Bravo Yankee. Over and out. And the last annoyance for me of the PRC-320 is the tone, the Morse code tone, the CW tone, because it's 2 kilohertz. And for me, who likes Morse code so much, it's very hard to listen to, because I'm used to a tone that's 500 hertz or 600 hertz, not 2000. So it's not perfect. But what other radio can you stick under your four-wheeler's tire to get it out of a mud hole? None that I know of, not in the commercial world. And that's the difference, guys. The ruggedness of the radio is absolutely amazing. You also know that one of my pet peeves for radio prepping is current draw on receive. A prepping radio, in my opinion, should draw very little current because you're going to spend a lot of time listening, and you might not have, big batteries that you want to carry, lug around, for hiking long distances. So the smaller the battery, the better, and the longer it lasts, the better, and the easier to recharge, the better. So of course the Clansman batteries are not easy to recharge. They're 24 volts, actually more like 28, 29 volt NiCad batteries. So I would need probably another battery and a specific charger to recharge them, and that's how I do it. But it's not the most practical. But I really love this radio and I use it all the time. It's very fast to set up and it's very usable. Now, if you want to get one in the US, you're going to pay a hefty price for shipping. You also need an importation letter, a document that you have to fill out for the FCC, I think. And don't order one without it. The seller should send it to you. Everybody's cutting grass right now. That wraps it up for the PRC-320. I'm sure you'll see it again in my videos along with its cousin, the PRC-351. Have a good one!